was wondering, between all the records, maybe you heard this more often, there's quite some time gaps between the releases.
Yeah.
How was if you look maybe then after the release of the record, and how was the time gap until now? Can you maybe describe the period that has happened between then and now?
Yeah, Attic Fate was finished in 2004, and I kind of really had to plead with Atlantic to let me release it, at least in Ireland, because I couldn't work without having a record out there. And you know, so we got it released in 2005 in Ireland, and a few other territories it got a small release. But so, you know, you're into 2006 then, and it's like trying to find out how am I going to make the next record, you know. I was still with Atlantic at that point, so I basically, look, it's not going to happen here. We left each other by mutual agreement, you know. And I suppose at that point, it's sort of from 2006, 2007, in my head, I just kind of, if I get into making another record, I can't see how it's going to be different, the process, what's going to actually happen with the record, how it's going to be different from the other records, because I don't have the team behind me, I don't have a fixed band anymore. So in a way, I wasn't really in a rush to get back into that complex sort of situation for my head, you know, like the frustration of having all these songs or whatever and not being able to do anything with it, you know. So I suppose I just wasn't in a hurry to make a record. I didn't take a break as such, but I just wasn't really in a hurry to, you know.
Can you recall what was your mindset then? You were not taking a break, but were you maybe fed up with some part of the whole music industry, and maybe, yeah, what was your primary emotion? Did it motivate you more, or was it like demotivating in a way?
It was demotivating, but only because it's very confusing to constantly be, you know, I've always had a record deal or a publishing deal, for instance, you know. I've never been sort of wandering around in the wilderness. So it's a bit confusing to have that,
but not the benefits.
People who believe in you, that you've got something, you believe in it, but nothing's happening. That's a little confusing, so. And it's always been like that, so I just needed to step back from that for a bit, you know.
Why do you think this happened to you? Did you think about it a lot, or did you, yeah?
I don't know.
You have to have a lot of patience, or do you feel that way?
Yeah, you have to have a lot of patience, and, you know, look and timing is so much. It really is a big part of this whole business, you know.
But was it then also maybe a bit paralyzing that you were still in the game, so to say, and on the other hand, maybe not achieving what you maybe hoped, or not getting the full benefit of?
Yeah, paralyzing. I mean, that's a good way of describing it, you know.
Because I can imagine you could also say, I'm going to go a whole other way, but then maybe cutting all the lines.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you've got to put bread and butter on the table as well, you know, and that wasn't really coming from the music anymore. It was coming less and less, you know. So the option was, do I chase it more, and get deeper into that hole of, you know, writing songs and not really knowing where they're going to go, or are they going to get it onto a record? How am I going to do that? You know, how am I going to find the time to promote it without backing or whatever? You know, so.
What have you been doing then? Did you have at some point other jobs aside of your musical career?
Yeah, the electrical thing. I mean, I'm not an electrician, but I do sort of. Things are broken, I fixed them, basically, for my brother and sister-in-law back in Denmark. So, and that's sort of a part-time thing. That's good. I can work when I want to work. And
how is that for you? Do you sometimes think how easy maybe things would be if that would be your only thing, or is that sometimes what you fantasize about?
Oh, it would be easier, yeah, and more organized. But that's not that. I've never had an organized life in that way. It's not. I don't mean chaotic, but it's not something I crave. I don't crave having a house my own house. Whew, this is ours. We live here, kind of thing. I like things to be flexible and open to change, and so that stability is not something that I crave. But you have to be realistic.